People of the internet, welcome back to another video. It is I, Don Thomas, back in here with another one. As always, folks, the likes, the comments, the subscribes are all greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for the support on this channel. Without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into today's topic, folks. So it looks like there's been, I guess, an update in the Cybertruck explosion that took place outside of Trump Towers not too long ago. Of course, there was speculation. I believe this was at the top of the year. A lot of things have been erupting as of late. Of course, it seems as if we've never had a break from 2024 leading straight into 2025. News broke out, of course, I believe it was New Year's Day, January 1st, 2025, that a Cybertruck blew up right in front of the Trump Towers out in New York City or whatever the case, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sorry, it was in Las Vegas, I should say. I'm sorry. So it looks like we have a little bit more of details as to who caused it, what was behind it. I have a video pulled up here from NBC News, entitled "Officials Call Las Vegas Tesla Cybertruck Explosion a Self-Deletion Case." I don't know if you can say that word on YouTube. Maybe you can, I guess, because they put it up there. But again, I think YouTube has certain words that they don't necessarily want you saying on here. So in an attempt to avoid any type of problems on my channel, we'll watch this clip, get some insight. Of course, I'll share my thoughts. I encourage you guys to share your thoughts down in the comment section below as well, too. Let's get into it.
Tonight, the motive and final days of Matthew Livelsberger coming into sharper focus.
It ultimately appears to be a tragic case of suicide involving a heavily decorated combat veteran who is struggling with PTSD and other issues.
Authorities laying out an extensive forensic accounting of the scene, explaining how they found his wallet and IDs charred but preserved under debris, displaying notes from his burned up phone, saying the Army Master Sergeant did not have any grudge against Donald Trump, but with the state of the country.
He says, fellow service members, veterans, and all Americans, time to wake up. We are being led by weak and feckless leadership who only serve to enrich themselves.
Authorities confirming through DNA and matching tattoos, the 37-year-old was the one inside the Tesla Cybertruck when it exploded, which they believe happened at the same time he shot himself. They also shared new images of Livelsberger at a Tesla charging station, adding data shows the car was not in self-driving mode. With questions mounting over the timing, the FBI stressing there is no known connection between Livelsberger, the New Orleans suspect, or any other terrorist organization. Meanwhile, a former girlfriend telling NBC News she received this video from the Green Beret inside what appears to be the rented Cybertruck just days before the explosion. Alicia Arrett telling NBC News the communication began with a text last week telling her he rented the Cybertruck.
I was surprised, especially when I knew he was already married, and I thought he was happy.
Arrett saying the two dated for several years, bonding over a love of the outdoors, describing him as respectful, driven, and playful. The messaging, including the video inside the truck, continuing till New Year's Eve, when Arrett says he went quiet. She found out about the bombing when she says she was contacted by the FBI.
I don't know what drove him to it. I've just been rolling it around in my head for 2 days.
Arrett says Livelsberger was never violent towards her, but often complained of extreme pain following multiple back surgeries, among other issues.
He would have headaches. He had some memory loss and trouble concentrating. I know he had some trouble.
Military records show Livelsberger won many commendations, but was never awarded a Purple Heart. He did, however, serve on multiple deployments, including Afghanistan in 2017, 2018, and 2019. Today in Las Vegas, investigators say as they search for a potential motive, the decorated veteran ended with this.
I need to cleanse my mind of the brothers I've lost and relieve myself of the burden of the lives I took.
In fact, two U.S. government officials tell NBC News tonight that Livelsberger has seen a doctor at least 3 times from the months of August to December for specifically depression. Not only that, but the Department of Defense has turned over his military medical records to investigators, but they're not saying tonight if he ever showed any signs of suicide.
So there you heard it, folks. And to be completely honest, I of course heard this news, saw the headlines when it first happened, but I didn't really care to dive into it up until now, because again, I just thought it was foolery, to be completely honest. And now that I'm more knowledgeable and hearing the full details of at least the narrative that they're telling us on social media, jeez. See, folks, I have my thoughts, man. I don't want to go down conspiracies, but sometimes, man, I can't help but go down conspiracies. I always tell you guys, think critically with the things that are portrayed on mainstream media, right? I'm not going to say too much. I'm not going to use this because a person did lose their lives. But I hear some similarities between the other brother, what's his name? Luigi, in terms of medical issues and, having gripes. I think the gentleman, of course, they were able to find, in that explosion, they were able to find his passport, his phone, with slight burns here and there, but they were still able to retrieve his identification, which, of course, allowed people to see that he was a 37 day. He's fairly young, my age group, military veteran, this, that, and the other. Said he didn't have a problem with Trump or just whatever he had said, what are the cases. And you kind of hear that same narrative with the Luigi guy. I'm finding it interesting how in these situations, again, maybe it's by design, what are the cases, that these people are being sure to leave their thoughts behind, their manifestos. A lot of these people call these people copycat folks from previous, people that have been martyrs, I guess you could say, that people have some type of political or emotional stance behind the reasons they do what they do. So I'm finding it interesting that these people are leaving behind their perspectives and their complaints and their gripes with our current socioeconomic status, which seems to have been the case with this gentleman as well too. Here's my thoughts, folks, and of course, as always, I encourage you guys to leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. A Cybertruck blows up in front of a Trump tower. Of course, as of late, we've been seeing the union between future President Donald Trump, Elon Musk, a few of these other guys as well too. Seems like there's a lot of people who feel a certain way about this union. People are saying that, people are saying a lot of different things, of course, in terms of speculation or just how it looks from an optic standpoint in terms of this new tag team. And of course, anytime we're talking about the super wealthy billionaires, this and the other, people always have their feelings towards the intentions behind some of these legislations and rules that are being made. Is it a little bit of favoritism? Is it greed? Is it, controlled power over a specific group of elites? Of course, I've shared my thoughts on that as well too. I don't want to make that this video, although I feel like I can, but I don't want to. In terms of the hierarchy that I spoke on, man, I told you guys it's a hierarchy. I told you guys it's a totem pole. The people with the most money and the most influence sit at the top, while the rest of us normal folks are towards a closer bottom. So that's maybe why people have a lot of feelings, strong feelings towards situations like this. Of course, you heard again in this video that this gentleman also had his thoughts on, I guess the economic standing, whether he felt like he was overlooked. Maybe, I guess, is the narrative they're trying to say that, he served years in Iraq or Afghanistan, whatever the case is, in 2015, 2016, 2017, yada, yada, yada. Didn't receive a Purple Heart for it. Had medical issues, of course, mental and physical issues, going to doctors and this, that, and the other. So the story itself paints a narrative that could maybe be perceived by the greater majority of us as maybe heroic or as a martyr, maybe pitting him as the overall consensus of maybe what a lot of people feel in our current times in this world right now. Do you share those same sentiments? I guess that's maybe what they're trying to maybe call for as well too. I just want to be mindful for all of us in remembering that narratives can be created to tell a story, folks. And again, I'm probably going to get some whatever, because again, there's people out there that take what they see on the news as face value. Whatever the news said, they eat it up, they believe it, cool, they take it as facts. Oh, the news said it, man. That's what the news said, so it has to be true. Maybe, maybe not. I just think that moving forward, and again, I'm not saying it's not true. Of course, we saw the explosion. I'm not saying a truck didn't explode. I'm not saying a man didn't lose his life. Of course, we have it all on camera. But I'm saying the why behind it all. The who, what, where, when, and why. The why behind it all. The narrative that's pitched. Maybe it could be a little bit scripted. I'm just finding like same thing, and again, kind of goes down into other conspiracies, but the passport, I don't necessarily know people to travel with their passport in day-to-day situations. Maybe a driver's license. I think he had his driver's license, his passport, maybe, maybe not. But of all the things, the car obliterated, but the passport was still intact. His phone was still intact enough to be able to retrieve the messages in his manifesto of how he felt about certain things and stuff. I just hear certain stories like that and feel like it's a little bit unrealistic. But again, that's just my thoughts. Doesn't necessarily have to be yours. But that's just what I make about this whole situation. Again, this is my first time hearing the full thing in its entirety. Of course, it looks like they've had some time to go over the details, and officials have gone through the rubble. Again, this took place in Las Vegas, outside of a Trump tower. Cybertruck exploded. We all saw it January 1st, 2025. What a way to kick off the new year. It's like we never had a break. 2024 was a year probably that a lot of us felt like did a lot of foreshadowing. I know I felt like that. 2024 foreshadowed a lot with the elections and the things happening within the industries, right? The workforce, Hollywood. 2024 was an interesting year, and it looks like we didn't get a break. Straight into the new year, literally started off with an explosion and fireworks within this situation. So it's an unfortunate event, of course. Doesn't necessarily foreshadow a bright future for us in 2025. I myself have been saying that we should all be on our toes and stay vigilant, stay alert 2025, because if we were to treat this as a show or a movie and I'm watching everything that took place on 2024, nothing's really telling me that 2025 is going to be any better. I don't know what the turning point is that's going to make everything better, right? I've been saying it for some time. I feel like we've been on a steady decline here in our society. I've said it plenty of times before as well, too, that I think we should all start our timers now. So anywhere between 2025 and 2035, I think we should expect to see more events that are going to shape how we live our day-to-day lives. So stay sharp out here, folks. Stay diligent. Anything can happen. Nowadays, it's just like I wake up every morning. What headline am I going to see today? Is my new attitude. What's the latest news? What's the latest narrative that mainstream media is pitching us? What do I have to be mindful of? Is it the drones? Is it the food? Every day, you never know what type of headline you're going to see when you wake up. So it's just like you got to be on your toes. You got to be intentional with the things that you're doing. What's feeding your attention? What's feeding your energy? Be mindful of these things, man. And stay diligent out here. Have a plan in place between you and your family, whatever the case is, just in case things continue to get dicey. Those are my thoughts. Of course, I want to hear yours down in the comment section below. As always, the likes, the comments, the subscribes are all greatly appreciated. I will catch you on the next one.